Captain's Log, Episode 83. This week's episode of the Beer Avengers podcast is sponsored by the Beer and Cheese Collective, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Enjoy their eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at the Beer and Cheese Collective, home bar to yours truly, Captain Porter Brown Stout. As we enter the fourth month of the WGA strike, and I guess we're going on to our third week of the SAG-AFTRA strike. I'm not writing anything right here. I usually write something in solidarity with the writers. I'm not writing anything here, and you may even be seeing me on the picket line soon. I have not been there, but I have a lot of friends who are out there. So if you see anyone there, show them your support, and at the very least, buy them a beer. Remember to like, star, and subscribe whenever that feels appropriate. And send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 83, Vive le Huck.
With a beer Avengers, beer Avengers, beer Avengers. We're the Beer Avengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brown Stout.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Fresno, California, this is the Pale Male Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the County of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder.
And we are the Beer Avengers. Yeah, that was it. That was the thing.
Last time when we were in person, that was a little better. I'm going to just throw that out there. I feel like the physical proximity, it does the acting exercise more effectively.
I think it does. Yeah. We are. In fact, it's great that we start every episode off showing like this is one of the limitations of doing it in multiple locations, and we also embrace it. We love it.
We do. Also, was it a failing of all of our respective acting schools? Really, that's the other question here.
That's it's half a dozen of one and 6 or 25 of the other, however that expression goes. Welcome, everyone, all the Beer Avengers out there. We're back once again. Hope you enjoyed our live episode, and you're probably if you did, you're really appreciating the sound quality this time, I hope. You could hear everything we said.
We tried last time.
It's just not a live episode without birds and air conditioners.
No. Tells you that we were actually doing a thing as opposed to like pretending to do a thing. You know what I mean?
Yes. And Huck, welcome back. I know you're out of the country for a little while. Glad to have you back here.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back here with the Beer Avengers.
There you go. That sounded very sincere.
Always.
Very sincere and not canned.
I believe him.
I believe him. I believe it's true. I believe the sentiment is true. I just didn't believe the line reading so well, but
Again, failure
I know it's in your heart, and that's fine.
Gosh, all of our acting teachers are going to be so mad at us.
This is getting a little tense here. I think it's clearly time that we relax a little bit and ease into the pores. What do you say, Beer Wonder?
Wow,
just gently ease in. Is that what you're saying?
Gently ease in, and since he was gone last week, and it's almost like he's the conquering, returning hero.
That's true.
I think maybe it would be the most polite thing if Huck would go first.
It would be so polite because Huck, we missed you last week.
Oh, that's very sweet. Well, I enjoyed the podcast you did last week.
You.
It was a lot of fun to see you pounding the draft beers, enjoying the charcuterie and pretzel. I was thinking one of the best pretzels I ever had was Pony Bar.
Oh yeah, that's
great pretzels. Yeah.
All right, so I keep trying to get new breweries, and it's getting harder now because I'm running out. I did get a new one though. This is Ghost Town.
Ooh.
Ghost Town Brewing, and it'll be great for the Instagram. Story because that's a great song by the Specials, and it's called Geisterfaust.
Geisterfaust.
Faust. It is a Pilsner.
German words are so much fun.
I know. Gesundheit.
The Pilsner beer. And so,
Ooh, pilsy.
I'm gonna
That was a
set
good
up-
crack too. I just want to be really clear. That was an excellent crack.
I'm going to do, this is a right-handed pour situation, but
Yeah, I
let's go
believe
for
in
it.
you. You see, it just takes confidence, and
I hate
honestly,
to do it over my computer like this, but
I know. But this beer is quite confident too. It's confident head. I'll say that much. Oh my
you can
goodness.
see that was
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
someone said.
Mhm.
There we go. Oh, pretty.
It's very nice, and it's in your Lazy Dog Beer Club.
yeah, matching
glass.
colors.
I know it's
Very
coordinated.
cool.
Mhm.
Right on.
I like that the skulls are pink. I feel like it adds a little something.
Yeah,
You know.
right on. Well, what about y'all? Something special to share with us this week? Beer-wise?
Geez, I don't know which one of us should go first, Beer Wonder.
I mean, well, here's the thing. I've already questioned our acting teachers today, so maybe I should take my penance and go last. Why don't you go first?
All right, sure. Well, this is one that it's one I'm a big fan of. It is a
Sponsored pour.
That's right.
What?
It's a sponsored pour. Actually, not from one of this week's sponsors, but from sponsors a couple of shows we had before the Pony Bar.
Oh, yay. We like them.
Didn't get a chance to get to any of their beers in the episodes that they sponsored, but I had this one. This is really very typical to me. It's from Vitamin C Brewing. It is a 4.2% hazy IPA
Ooh.
called Ramble and Roam. So
Rambling.
Oh, vitamin C out of Weymouth, Massachusetts, I believe.
I will take your word on that one. I think it's probably
I actually saw one today. I was out beer shopping. I found a vitamin C beer.
And since it's a pony beer, let's do a pony glass right here.
Oh, that's
yeah.
an historic pony glass. That one
Yes.
definitely came to us through fully non-questionable means. 100%.
No, definitely. They gave it to us. They gave it to us, or so I can't remember what it was. Now, this was right near the end of when the original place shut down.
Oh,
We wound up taking this. Yeah, so this is definitely. And just in case anyone thought you were being sarcastic, we actually did get this legitimately.
yeah, we did get these.
there we
We
go.
did get we did get our pony glasses legitimately for sure.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful though. It's very hazy. Definitely good head,
Mhm.
fluffy head on that beer.
They are known for their hazy beers. There,
Mhm.
vitamin C.
Yeah.
All right,
Well-
what you got, Beer Wonder?
Well, okay. So
B-dubs.
It's going to shock everyone. So get ready because today I will be drinking a
Sponsored pour.
Another
Yeah.
sponsored pour, but this one
know.
is from a different sponsor, isn't it?
Yes, it would be from our friends at the Beer and Cheese Collective at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard.
Nicely done. I see.
See?
Now all it takes is a little
See?
practice.
It does.
And-
it
and-
just
And that little sense memory of having been in the space last week.
exactly. Well, yeah. It really. Again, our acting teachers will be proud of us. But
Completely.
I also this is an exciting moment. Okay,
Oh,
it's
yeah?
an exciting moment in the beer cast because today the Beer Wonder will be drinking the highest ABV beer that he has ever drunk on the beer cast. Now, some of you may
Wow.
remember the ill-fated episode we called the barley wine episode.
Yeah,
I think that was a well-fated episode. I think
Well, we all
We
make
need
our
another
choices,
one before we're
and
done. Yeah.
that's true. And if you recall, I think the lowest ABV on that one, if I recall correctly. I think I was only at
That's possible. I'd have to
I
look
see.
in the archives.
yeah, it was pretty low. But our lovely sponsor has given us a beer from Tool, which is Toul, I think is how it's pronounced. It is a Danish brewery. It is called Director's Cut. It comes in a bottle. It's very exciting. And it is defined as a long time boiled imperial pale ale.
Oh, long time
I know,
boiled.
long time boiled. And that boiling has done some work on it because this beer is arriving to me at a casual 17% ABV.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Holy
I know.
smokes.
I know. So I'm just saying it's going to get weird up in here. So let's all just emotionally prepare.
Hey, we're ready
ourselves.
for that.
Take a look at this
Okay.
beauty.
Yeah. Okay.
I know the captain recently had it 17 just a couple weeks ago.
Did I? That sounds possible. That sounds plausible.
But I
to be
think
sure.
our highest is 17 when you had the scaphism on the show from Nightmare.
That may
Brewing.
be right. Yeah.
All right. Ooh, this I can already smell the alcohol on this one, just
Let's go.
popping right out of the bottle. So let's do this thing. The
Take a look.
provider has provided, and let's see what
Yeah.
we've got here. Oh my gosh!
Oh wow.
Provider
Nice
challenging
and dark
you
there.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
And they call it a
brown
pale ale.
or a-
I know it's a long time boiled imperial pale ale.
All right.
So, all
That's
right. and
interesting.
there
So
it
long
is.
boil brings out more of the sugars or raises the gravity, I suppose. Oh, time to drink. Okay.
I assume
All
so.
right. Very nice. All right. Cheers, Beer Avengers.
Cheers.
Santé.
Mm.
Very refreshing.
Crisp.
Mm.
Yeah. I like it. It's got a nice crispiness to it. It's a nice. We gotta give the Beer Wonder a chance to react over here.
Wow.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk
Well-
about this pills a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice, light, easy drinking beer. Even though it is a higher percentage, it's 5.6, I believe. Yeah, so they got a little.
Okay.
It's got a little oomph to it for a pilsner, but real smooth, easy drinking. Not too sweet. It's got a nice sharpness, nice bitter finish. I mean, it hits all the buttons. I got a 4-pack of this too for $12, no less.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
And we'll talk about later about what Geisterfaust means. But yeah, Ghost Town out of Oakland, California.
Oh.
Well, I sort of when I downplayed the significance of mine the way sort of went the exact opposite tack of Beer Wonder. But since I knew I had a feeling he was going to be having this beer on, I decided to really flip things around and have what is probably the lowest ABV beer I've ever had on the show. And so this is a 4.2%, and
That
it's
is low.
very, very refreshing. Really can taste those Citra hops there, but it probably won't be terribly. Fortunately, it's a big can. So that'll slow me down a little bit, but I have a feeling it won't be long before my second pour because this goes down really easy, which is their intention when they put on here Ramble and Rome, easy drinking beer. It says it right there on the can, and they're delivering. And are you having are you hyperventilating there, Beer Wonder? What's going on?
It's a fully emotional moment here. This beer is really good.
Oh, it is. I'm glad that was what it was. Yeah.
Wow. It's
Wow.
it's really surprising. So I do want to be clear. So Director's Cut is the series that they've done. The beer is called, I believe, Reparation Bahar or Bayer. It's very long and very Danish. But I did do some sort of reading about this beer before. So the whole Director's Cut series is about enjoying smaller parts of movies on a bigger scale. The part that was too short in the movie and that you didn't really have time to sort of embrace. And I feel like this is taking like a small theme and enlarging it in a really intense way, because this does not taste like an IPA to me. This tastes like I'm drinking wine. It tastes like
wine.
It tastes
not like barley wine?
No, it tastes like it does. Well, it's got a little plumminess to it, but not intense plummy. But it's not like what I'd expect an IPA to have. What they're doing in order to keep all this going is they actually have to add yeast multiple times during the fermentation to get the high ABV. But the final yeast that they add is a champagne yeast, which I imagine is what's giving that like winey feel. And
Makes sense.
What's kind of amazing is that it's very dry and surprisingly sweet, and you do not taste the alcohol at all. You smell it, but you don't taste it. And
we will see it coursing through you over the next
mildly concerned about what is going to happen in our time together this evening.
I think we've raised the stakes right there.
But this is a really, really good beer, and it's going to be a little dangerous. I mean, the good news is it does have that winey character, so it is going to slow me down a little bit. It's not going to knock back, but it's really nice.
That's great.
I could drink at least one and maybe a half of these.
What a fun beer. Yeah, Tool. They do a lot of interesting beers like that. I feel like they do a lot of marshmallow stuff.
Yeah, it definitely has that character. They've got a whole bunch of different series. They've got one called Dangerously Close to Stupid, and they put different fruits in that. So there's Dangerously Close to Stupid, amounts of apricot or guava or mango, things like that. They have a De Juicy IPA, which I think is funny. And then they have a whole series called Fuck Art, and then they add something after that. So Fuck Art, Let's Dance. Fuck Art, The Heathens Are Coming. Fuck Art, This Is Advertising. All sorts of
interesting brewery.
There. So yeah, cool stuff. I guess we have to go to Denmark. Your Avengers trip to Denmark?
Oh,
I
thought about.
Aren't they the happy? Or is it the Finns that are the happiest people on Earth? I think it's the Finns, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I bet the Danes are somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean, Scandinavia is a pretty cheery place in general. Anyone who's ever read Strindberg knows that.
Very cheery.
Yeah. Unless you're in such a cheery place, you don't come up with a play called Dance of Death and then write a sequel.
Well, you got to dance on death twice.
Well, yeah.
You can do it multiple times. Speaking of like European happiness, Huck was enjoying some European happiness over the last couple of weeks. So I want to find out how was your trip?
Uh, it was great. It was good. I'd never been to Paris. We went for a week, and we were on a tour, so we kind of just we saw all the things you're supposed to see. It was a very touristy trip.
Okay.
Not that
Very
there's
well
anything wrong with
curated.
that. It was actually it was well curated. I went to see Versailles, the
Mm.
palace, and I think Captain. Have you both been to Paris?
I have, yeah.
Yes.
It's don't they call the palace, or the in French they call it the chateau, Chateau de Versailles,
Chateau de Versailles.
Chateau de
I think they
Versailles.
do call it the palace. Anyway, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, it was a good time. Didn't really witness any of the unrest
Oh, right, because there
because
were
it's a big
protests.
place. It's just and in a lot of ways it reminded me of New York.
Hmm.
In that there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of people, but we have. I mean, there's nothing in New York like the Louvre
Oh, sure.
Museum.
That's true.
This thing is like it's massive. It's just massive. But what we did was we said, well, we're gonna follow the. We had a little said I heard here to how to follow the masterpieces. So we go and we saw
Hmm.
first when we found the Venus de Milo.
Oh yeah.
And I
Right.
was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
that
think I
was
saw
cool.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we saw Winged Victory, which is
Oh yeah. Mhm.
the headless thing. Oh, I forgot about this. I was with my mother-in-law, and she's having trouble getting around, so she's using a cane and using things to uh, walk with. And we're right under the Winged Victory, and all of a sudden, one of the people watching the Winged Victory, they're very lazy guards. They're yelling from the corner in French.
Oh.
And I didn't really, and everyone is looking over to like the corner of the room where they seem to be yelling towards because the guy was cross-eyed, right?
Oh.
And but he had glasses on, so you couldn't really tell where he was looking, but it looked like he was looking in this general direction. And I'm looking like, what is he yelling at? I'm like, is there a kid climbing on the Winged Victory or what is it? And I realized as we're standing there that it's Jennifer, and she's got her hand on the stone
Oh.
that's
Ah,
holding the statue up because she's using it to help herself. They're
Oh
yelling at
no.
her.
Oh.
She caused an international incident. Although I think we recovered pretty well. But I did learn to speak French
Oh. Congratulations.
in a month. Not really. I didn't really learn to speak French, but I did do fairly well. It did come in handy because people say,
Oh.
"Oh, everybody speaks English," which is generally, you know, pretty true. Everyone at the
yeah.
hotel and a lot of restaurants
Yeah.
will, but not everybody. Not everybody. And
Valid.
so it did come in handy a few times to be able to converse. I was conversing like the thing is I sound good, my
Oh yeah.
acting skills. Shout out to the National Shakespeare Conservatory that I can do accents and voices. So it was like when I speak, it sounds like, oh, this guy speaks French, even though I
Ha.
don't. I really don't. So the answers come back at me, and I'm like, oh. But honestly, I think now that I know it, it's actually I think it's even closer to our language than Spanish is, and even easier to understand. The problem is the accent is so different, and
Hmm.
the way you pronounce the words is so different. But if you look at them on paper, I mean, there's so many similarities. So, and if
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know another Romance language, like I know Spanish fairly well, and
Sure.
so that definitely helped me to develop that. But it was cool. And then we got to see the Mona Lisa, right? So we'll see the Winged Victory. We go
Oh
see
yeah.
the Mona Lisa, and if you go in the room, it's like it's ridiculous. There's a rope that you have to go around like you're back in the airport now, and you got
It's a
to go around
giant
this
room
rope.
too, isn't it?
This giant room. There's other paintings in the
Yeah.
room to look at,
I
but
didn't see
everyone's
them.
got to see the Mona Lisa. It's not large.
Yeah.
No.
I
Do
love
they
Da
still have?
Vinci,
Is
but
it
it's
still
like
behind bulletproof glass? Like, is it still like you're far away from her?
mm, well, I think you are a little far.
Okay.
But what happened was we're in the line, we're winding through the line, and it's moving. It's fine. You see people up front. Everybody's gonna take pictures now.
All right.
Everybody's got to get their picture. I take some pictures, sure, but it's like there are pictures of this on the internet. It doesn't, it's not that
Mm-hmm.
important. But I think they should just disallow it, and then it would be a much more pleasant experience. That's just the old man talking. But we get up near the front, and one of the guards sees Jennifer, and this is after the day I didn't tell you that she fell. So she's got this
Oh,
big black eye. She's fine. She had no internal bleeding, no breaks, but she got her whole side of her face got fucked up,
oh
and
no.
so she's walking with the cane. She's got a mask on, and she's got this black eye. So, so she looks the part of somebody that needs help, and so the guy's like, "Oh, please, madame." This way. And they're
Oh,
like looking at Bricken and I. Oh, you with her? Just come, the whole family come. And they brought us up to where the security people are,
oh wow.
which is about like 7 feet in front of the people that are allowed to get as close.
Wow.
So it's like, let's say it's 10 feet. You can get 10 feet from it. So we were more like 4 feet from it.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
And the
amazing.
three of us are just standing there looking at it. And all the people behind us are like, "Excuse me, could you move your head?" We're like, no, they told us to stand here. So
You
that was a
got
nice little moment.
all up in Mona's business.
Yeah.
And so given that really close view of it, what'd you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
What are your
fine.
thoughts?
It's fine.
like
I mean,
a
I
6
saw
out of
so many
10?
other things in that museum and at the d'Orsay and
Mhm.
elsewhere that I just was
Yeah.
blown away by.
Right.
And the Mona Lisa wasn't one of those things. I thought it's a nice painting.
Yeah, you're flashing me back to about back in 2007, I think it was. I went there. Also, your story about like your French, your limited French being too good that it fools people and then you get
Right.
screwed. I think that was like the first thing that happened to me there,
Yeah.
because
Oh.
I was
You
actually
were ready.
flying. I was flying to Amsterdam first, but there was a crossover
Oh.
at the Paris airport. We had just had to do an extra little leg from there, a little layover there. But I
Yep.
think we had to go through security again. And when I was telling security, I can't even remember what I said, but whatever I said sounded so convincing. The security person just started like talking to me quickly in French. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Uh, but the Louvre
Je
thing,
ne comprends pas.
yeah, exactly. I see. If I'd known that, if I'd even known that much, I would have been able to have been better off. Je ne comprends pas. But I,
I don't understand.
yeah, you see that that's your favorite joke, isn't it, Beer Wonder?
Well, look, if we're doing multiple languages, I got to get something in here, and I have none. So I could do Latin, but that's not going to help anybody out.
Yeah,
It's going to help you though to learn other languages.
Well, that's true. I did fake my way through Europe with Latin. Anyway, continue, Captain.
So yeah, so I wound up. They had this sort of English language tour of the Louvre, Louvre, and it's not. Of course, it's not a tour. It's more of just like here are some highlights, and we hit all the same highlights that you're talking about,
Mhm.
as well as a few others. I think we saw the raft of the Medusa as well. But the interesting thing about the Mona Lisa was their guide was not allowed to talk to us in the room
Oh,
where the Mona Lisa was.
huh.
She'd say you could go in and look, and then we'll come out and we'll stand in this hallway and I'll tell you more about it.
Right,
So we
right.
went in and saw it. I didn't get anywhere near as close as you. I thought it was, yeah, I wasn't blown away by it either. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't like, okay,
No.
yeah, there it is. That's what it's supposed to look like. And so she was telling us this whole story about how they just recently renovated some things as far as the place that she was.
Hmm.
And this is she's speaking good English, but somewhat halting because she wants to make sure she gets the right words out. And so she's telling us about how and this was recently renovated because of a donation we got from the Japanese, because the Japanese people are crazy about Mona Lisa.
Oh my God.
So
Oh
I
my
love the
God.
fact that there was just that pause where it sounds like she's just saying they're crazy about Mona Lisa.
They're crazy, and they also like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. No, the funny thing, she was being completely sincere, wasn't trying to say that, but it was
Right.
just like, it was like, oh, there's more to that sentence. Cool.
Right on. Very
Yeah.
cool. There was a couple of paintings we saw, like the that I was blown away by the crowning of Napoleon, or when Napoleon crowns himself. That
Yes, I
story
remember
where
that one too. Yeah.
Yes.
he takes the crown away from the Pope and tells the Pope to sit down. So that's the picture, is like right after he
Oh.
tells the Pope to sit down, and it's
Yeah.
massive. It takes up. It's a huge painting. It reminds me of Norman Rockwell. It's a guy named David, French painter, and he also did like Marat Sade, I think.
Right.
In the bathtub. But this painting, I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It was just so compelling. like and there's all these clergy members behind the Pope, and each one of them has a different expression on their face, like,
Yeah.
oh, like this isn't going to work out, but not like, oh, they're not doing any of that. It's just you can see behind their eyes what they're thinking. It's just amazing painting. And the other one that I saw was at the d'Orsay, which is Van Gogh, which I love Van Gogh, and I have it here because I bought the cleaning cloth. I didn't even know this
The glass is
existed.
wipey. Oh, the one where
Oh, wow.
it's the reflections of light in the Seine, isn't it? And it's the stars and also
It's
the
Starry
light.
Starry Night over the something bridge.
Right. Yes,
And I didn't know this existed because the Starry Night, it's not Starry, it's just one
right.
star.
Yeah.
But the Starry Night is in New York, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, I've seen that at the MoMA in New York, and then this one I didn't even know existed, and it lives up to the hype, but it was like, again, like everyone had to get their picture with it. They had to do a selfie with it. It was just like,
yeah.
And I was actually out loud. I said, I'm standing in the crowd. I'm like, folks, we can get a picture of this online. You could just Google it and see the picture. You don't need to do all this.
Yeah, I never fully understood the whole, like, I need to take a picture of the art that I'm seeing thing. I understand, like, I would like to take a selfie with the art.
Yeah.
So, like, if it's like me with the Mona Lisa, like, I
Right.
can get that because, like, that's social media clout. But, like, oh, I just need my own picture of Mona.
It's
like,
mostly what it is. People taking selfies.
I know.
But I get it. Like, I would take a picture of something, so it's like, oh, I want to remember that I was here and what I saw, and I could tell somebody about it. That's like my video diary, really, is taking photos on my phone now, so I can remember.
Sorry, historically, but what you would do in museums before everyone had a phone in their pocket was you'd buy postcards. And I still have, from like my early museum going days, I still have like stacks of postcards where I was like, I liked this picture. I'm going to buy a small version of it so I have it.
Right.
You know, and they're like 95 cents. So, I mean, today they're 95 cents. I think they were like 25 cents back or 10 cents when I was buying them. But, that's the old school way. That's for us dinosaurs.
Kids today. But it's nice that the kids are so interested in the art. That's true. Good.
I'll take the kids being interested in the museums and the art. I'm sorry, Captain.
I just wanted to talk about that Napoleon painting because I remember seeing that one also, and I don't know if I heard her right, because the way I remember it being described to me was more specifically that the Pope refused to crown Napoleon, and so that's why he's like, well, fuck you, I'm crowning myself, and that's why that way. But the moment of defiance you're talking about was absolutely right, but it wasn't from what I heard was the Pope didn't respect or whatever. So the Pope, okay, if Pope's not going to crown me, I'm Emperor Napoleon the First. I'm going to crown myself.
Yeah.
Well, either way,
that makes more sense. Yeah, I like that.
And either way, the painting is successful because you both interpreted it the correct emotion that was coming from the painting.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and this also our guide might have explained it to us that way too. So I had that extra layer as well.
Oh, and on the captain note, I was in the Musée d'Orsay, the Orsay Museum, and they have a lot of Impressionists, a lot of Monets, and that's where the Van Gogh was. But they also had this big statue gallery, this sculpture gallery, really a lot of interesting stuff. And they had this Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah.
I could see it from a distance, and I'm like, this better be, what's his name? The guy.
Bartholdi?
Bartholdi. I said, this better be Bartholdi's, because like, why else would you do a Statue of Liberty? I go down to look at it. It was indeed his, it was like a brass or bronze statue, which was the model for the eventual statue of Liberty.
Oh, it was the model itself?
It was a version that he did.
It was, okay, because because the one that I saw was the one that he did was in a different museum. But what I heard happened since I was there, because there was another copy of it in the Luxembourg Gardens.
Oh yes, we know that.
And what I heard was that the Musée d'Orsay restored that one because it was getting into bad shape. So it was their project. They restored it, and in doing so, they still put it back in the garden when it was done being restored. But then they also made a replica of it for themselves. But
interesting. I think
I mean, look, there's a bunch of her floating around. There's one at the Met
I think there's
Museum,
more than one, right?
Because they were right. If I remember, Captain, they were selling them as like you could get little miniature ones if you donated enough money.
Yeah, but not anywhere near that big. This was more like a 10 foot. 10 foot tall one of it.
Okay, I have it here. Liberté.
We know her.
1889, bronze.
Yep.
A gift from the French people to the American people of the 100th anniversary of the American independence.
Go America.
Colossal, blah, blah, blah. Classic iconography. It doesn't. This smaller copy was acquired by the French state during the artist's lifetime in September 1900 for the Musée de Luxembourg in Paris.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
The statue was exhibited there until 1906, when, at the request of the sculptor's widow, was placed in the Luxembourg Gardens.
There you
Mhm,
go.
there you
That's
It
that's
remained
where I
there
saw
for-
it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It remained there for over a century before being transferred to the Musée, which is
I
the
mean, look.
natural successor to the Musée de Luxembourg.
See,
Okay.
she's been through some things. She's ready for retirement. She's going to go and live in a nice train station. I feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that one is since I was there. But when I was at Musée d'Orsay, there was also a copy of another very early Bartholdi, which was a Good Samaritan thing that he did.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
it's pretty nifty. Y'all, when I went to the Louvre, I went once when I was in college, saw Mona Lisa, was also unimpressed. The second time I went to Paris, I actually specifically took a tour where, when I met the tour, it was like the hidden treasures of the Louvre or whatever. And I met the tour guide, and she was literally shaking. It was just me and one of my friends. And she was like, I just need you to know we're not going to see the Mona Lisa today. And both of us were like, yeah, we don't want to see her. And she was like, oh my God, thank you. So we
It's called
literally,
Hidden Treasures.
yeah, and we literally went and saw this whole other wing that, like, I did not know existed, and we saw all this cool stuff. We saw one that was from it was like either he was a Russian or I forget where he was from, but basically he wanted a wife, and so he sent artists out to go and, like, find women and paint pictures of them very quickly and then bring them back on little tablets, and then he would basically do it Tinder style, where they'd, like, show a picture and he'd be like, yes, no, yes, no. And so they had like 12 of them on the wall. And so we literally sat there and were like, nah, not so much. Yeah, that one, definitely. Best part of the thing. I loved every second of that. And yeah.
The Louvre is so large, they have a gallery of frames. And we came upon this gallery, and I said, is this a joke? You know, because it was like all empty frames. It was like, no, this is the exhibit.
Are they talking about,
Of
like, the different
frames.
styles of frames?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the frilly ones and the ones that are a little bit more flat and the ones that have, like, the bevel in
Exactly.
them. Oh my God.
Well, we were on our way to find the one Vermeer, because we're big Vermeer fans, and we did find it. It's the Astronomer. It was very cool. Another very small painting, and I'm like, and what was funny, like, everybody's gathered around the Mona Lisa. When we got to the Astronomer, I was like, and I got to stand, like, right in front of it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
No one's around, and, like, people are coming in the room. I'm like, come here. Got the Vermeer here. You know, it was funny. Like, it's all about the hype. Kind of like vitamin C brewing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good beer though. This good beer is really good. Yeah.
It's a favorite of the brother-in-law.
Oh,
Vitamin
does he have? I can't remember. Does the brother-in-law have a? Have you given him a beer vendor name? Because I feel like you've talked about this guy before, and
I think he's just a brother-in-law.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's all. That feels
some
like an
sort of
appropriate beer
haze.
vendor name.
Yeah,
Some
Hayes
sort
Bro.
of transferred
The Hayes Bro.
Angelino to the
Hayes
Cape.
Bro.
Hayes, he's the Hayes Bro, yeah, for sure.
There you go.
He's still on it. I mean, he loves it because you have Treehouse on the Cape now, so he just gets so much of that. But he likes vitamin C and Trillium. Oh, actually, I found some Trillium today. At the Maroa Shell.
Yeah.
And I do mean the gas station. Yes. I went in there looking for. I went in there looking for some Anchor Steam.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did not find any. They didn't have any Anchor there.
I guess everyone's hoarding it at this point, since it's not going to be around for much longer.
I know. Well, just in case our listeners don't know, Anchor, one of probably I'm going to say the first American craft beer. Are we gonna? Do you think we can claim that?
I think they can claim that title. I mean, there might be a few other people that are pushing for that crown, but I think they deserve it.
Yeah. Well, they are shutting down after inventing the California Common, the American Steam beer. You know, like sort of these the things that started American craft beer. They are on the way out, which is a sad story of corporate consolidation.
Right, because
yes, it really is.
they're owned by Sapporo right now, aren't they? The
They
same people
are,
who bought
yes.
Right.
Stone. Yeah.
Exactly, and a not quite controlling share, but enough that they have further distribution outside of the United States in our friends at Brooklyn.
Now,
Right.
they have existed since 1896,
I know.
but
It's over 100 years.
I just threw off his headphones.
I know he's upset. He's very upset. He's very upset.
But I know that's not continuous
No, they've had some on and offs. Yeah.
because they were revived, but early. I mean, as far as craft beer, they were revived in the 60s,
Right.
and by the Maytag Corporation.
Mhm.
And so from then, that's really does make them one of the first craft beers because from the 1960s, even though they say 1896. I think the problem that I've noticed with Anchor, because I have had a steam beer of late,
Yeah.
and
Well, you're on
then
the right
not
coast for
they're
it.
just very pedestrian
Yeah.
in the beers they were selling. Their Christmas ale was always like a perennial
Mm-hmm.
beer that people would get coming in one of those 750 milliliter bottles, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think for a lot of people, that was sort of a transitional beer as they were thinking about things that had a little bit more flavor, that were more crafty. Like that Christmas ale is something I've heard, not on our beer cast, but people who are maybe slightly more advanced in experience than I am, who are more West Coasty based, talk about that as being a beer that introduced them to a more refined or more interesting flavor profile in their beers. That Christmas ale being like a notable thing for them.
Yeah, I remember that a couple months ago. I think they just announced that they were just going to be way scaling back distribution, and even then they were saying, "And we're not going to make the Christmas beer anymore." I was like, okay, so
Yeah.
that was
That's- Well, I mean, I'm sure you could mass produce the steam ale. I mean, I'm sure that, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone decides to pick up the brand because it
I
is
think
iconic.
they are going to probably keep making beer, quote
Right,
unquote.
yeah.
Somebody's going to make it.
the
But they have
last
shut
rumor.
down the brewery right now.
The last rumor I heard was that Narragansett was negotiating to try and to take over that
Mhm.
brand.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So we'll see.
I mean, I'm glad to hear that the brand will be revived. I'm just sad that that brewery will no longer exist formally.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the Anchor Steam was my go-to beer when I would go to Odessa on Avenue A.
Oh, look at that.
Penny, my friend Penny, was a bartender there, and we would have.
Oh yeah.
It was
I
like
think I went there with you a couple
nights,
of
I
times.
think.
Yeah.
And it was just like it just was a clubhouse because no one else came in, so it was just us. And Penny used to just, I don't know, she used to give us quite the good bargain. On
I recall.
Tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
And,
like right around the corner from under St. Mark's, right?
yeah, and Odessa
Mhm.
had two rooms. One was the diner,
Oh, sure.
which was like a typical New York sort of diner, and then the other side was a bar. And they both had the same kitchen and everything, but no one went into the bar. It was just one of these bars that just people didn't go into. Although I guess they would on Saturday nights and stuff, but on a Monday night there wasn't many
Yeah.
people. So we used to go in there and I'd say, "Give me the steam, hit me with that steam," and it was always reliable. And that little funny bottle, funny
Mhm.
shaped bottle.
Oh
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Kind of squat.
But we had, we had a steam in one of our. I think I had one in one of our beer boxes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Or
really?
maybe it was part of. I definitely had an Anchor Steam in a beer box. Might have been one of the podcasts that we did.
Maybe.
Anyway, steam beer is an
Yeah.
important beer because it is an American original style.
One of our only.
And
Well, I guess the IPA technically, right?
one thing that might come out of this, I hope, is that they give up that they've copywritten this name, the term steam beer. So that's why it's called the California Common.
Right.
It really should be called a steam beer, but they copywrote it. So if somebody makes a steam beer, they have to call it a California Common.
Got
And
it.
it's essentially a lager that's brewed as an ale.
Yep.
I think it's brewed quickly.
Well, right, and
And they
because
say the name steam comes from the steam that billowed into the San Francisco sky as freshly made brews cooled on brewery rooftops.
that was their whole thing, was that they were using their rooftop area as a way to cool things down. But yeah, the first beer I ever brewed with at Keg and Lantern was a California Common, and it was the first time they'd ever made a California Common. And it was a surprisingly easy beer to make because it doesn't require a ton of hops and it happens so fast. Like we had it in less than a week.
Can I tell you a
Oh,
funny
okay.
story for me about Anchor? Is
Mhm.
I just now decided to look on Untapped and see did I ever record any of those? And I
Yeah.
it's exactly one time. Now you
Oh,
recall that very recently the Beer and Cheese Collective, formerly known as the Story of Beer and Cheese,
correct.
Ditmars, just celebrated their 9th anniversary. Well,
Oh.
I'm discovering here that on June 18th, 2014, I had an Anchor Porter
Oh wow.
at a Story of
Hmm.
Beer and Cheese Ditmars.
Praise it.
So there it is. So it all comes
Yeah,
full
that's
circle
still
there.
one of their flagship beers. That
Gave it 4 stars.
Yeah.
well, it was when they ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, while we're grieving over some losses, since we are of theater folk, I do want to grieve another loss,
Oh
and
my.
that is the Metropolitan Playhouse,
Hmm.
which was a
I
theater in the East Village that was a long time sort of like indie theater staple of over 22 years, has chosen to close their doors.
Well, that's a shame.
Yep.
I don't know that I ever saw anything there. Did you?
Yep. They do.
What's the address there? Where are they at?
It's right between Avenues A and B, I think Fourth. But it is like Alex Rowe was their artistic director, and it was a place that did like old school American classics. And by like old school American classics, I mean like Revolutionary era or right after
Right.
the Revolution. And so, but they also did a whole series of like supporting artists in the area that did what they called the East Village Chronicles, where they would have local artists write short plays about the East Village. It was one of the very first places I ever performed as an actor in New York City, and
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Yes.
it was sort of unfortunately sort of we got the news that Alex is choosing to close down the space because of reasons that were not being put out in the public. But I can only imagine that the rent is too goddamn high.
It's
Yeah,
probably it. Yeah.
I have been to this space. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
I
Cider
think
Girl has directed one or two things there.
she
So
directed things there. Yeah.
mhm.
It's a nice
Okay.
little
Oh, it
black
looks
box.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cute little black box. It's right next to the Connolly in Gotham here. But yeah, they have just announced that they are closing, and so pour one out. I spent a lot of nights seeing theater there, and then going across the street to I believe it was called Dorian Gray, and then drinking away the either celebration of good artistic output or drowning my sorrows because sometimes you see things in the offs where you're like, oh.
Oh, okay. No, this is what I was thinking of. Oh, no, actually, it is. They have a black box and they have a bigger space too,
They
or isn't
do,
there
yep,
like more of a regular
they do, yep.
size
They've got two areas.
stage?
Yep, they got
Yeah,
Yeah.
an
I
I've
haven't.
upstairs
seen
and a
more of the
downstairs.
space. I have been
Well,
there a few times.
well, Beer Wonder, I'm going to take your advice as far as pouring one out, but I'm just going to pour one in
Good,
because
you should.
as I mentioned, that
Oh,
that
for
that
yeah,
vitamin
man,
C
do
beer was very crushable, very, and it's
Quaffable.
empty, quaffable, and I'm getting thirsty now. So
Oh
I
no.
am going to have this is I don't we all don't always do this for a second pour, but I have a
Sponsored pour.
but
No
Oh, all
this
right.
fucking way.
I do. It's a sponsored pour from the Beer and Cheese Collective, 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard.
That one.
And this is from OEC Brewing, which let
Oh,
me see if
Oh,
I have
love
this
them.
right. We've had them before.
weck,
I believe
weck.
that stands for Ordinum Eccentrici Coctoris.
Oh yes, we like
Speaking of
them.
Latin,
Weirdos.
I
The
was
best
waiting for a
weirdos.
Gesundheit there, but okay, that's fine.
No, look, it's Latin. I got nothing to add to that. Okay, I did
All
4
right.
years of that. I did 5 years of that in high school. Okay, I got nothing to add.
All right. So this is it's
he's not
obviously
angry about it.
so
5
OEC is
years in
from
high school. Let's be clear on that one. 5 years in high school. Okay, I was that exhausting.
Do the number, do the math on that.
But this is from Oxford, Connecticut. This
Yeah.
is a quad. It's a 10.2%,
Ooh,
and it is
snap.
called Saturnalia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Romans, and yes, we're bringing it all together. Also, thank you for bringing up the average because I felt like I was doing a lot of heavy lifting this evening with my 17%.
You were. I mean, I'm not going to start
And
with a
are, and
4.2% and not balance that out a little bit. So
Thank
let's see
you.
what we got here.
Thank you. Oh, and lighter than I would have anticipated for a beer of this ABV.
It's a nice dark amber color. Yeah.
Well, it's a Belgian quad, so yeah. But I
Okay.
think actually it's probably a little bit lighter on the camera there.
Yeah.
And with the
I
green
really
screen
like
and all that,
OEC.
but-
That's one of those breweries I miss being out here.
I know they're very creative, and I dig the fact that they are willing to try lots of things. Yeah. And Saturnalia, of course, a celebration of the sun. You're meant to eat a lot of things with cheese on them, which we know is excellent.
Love it.
got the
I have
very
a second.
Belgian-y nose.
Oh, nice. I also have a second beer to
What?
bring into the
Oh my
party.
goodness, it's very exciting.
Well, I did the same thing. I had a light beer to start, and now we're going to go a little bit heavier. This is about 7.5%. Now, remember I was talking about that beer that I left at my mother-in-law's fridge, the
Right.
Morgan Territory
I do recall. Yeah.
I remember that. That was a sad moment.
locked, boxed, and ready to rock. So I did rescue those. I have them in my fridge, but then I went out today and I found another Morgan Territory beer, which is a little older, so I want to drink it. And it
Okay.
actually says they do like Best By dates, which I'm
Oh,
not
good.
a fan of. But it says Best By date is next week. So,
Oh,
but it's a Bach. It's called, and I love the name, Big Bach Energy.
yeah.
Okay, so it's a straight like Bach or Doppelbach.
Nice to get a
And,
dick joke on your can there.
Yeah,
I was going to say, with the dick
I'm gonna
joke,
go ahead.
straight is questionable already.
I
So
don't know
you
what the color is going to be like. Oh, but like the captain, I got a nice pony glass here.
Oh, look at that. That's a good pony glass.
That's the old
I guess.
14
Okay, so
percenter.
we get a nice dark
14
color right
ounces.
away.
And
It
that
looks a lot like the captain's beer.
That is
Oh, yeah.
definitely Bach colored for sure. It's
Yeah,
got
very
that
similar.
nice-
Very similar color to this one.
good,
Yeah.
and very light on its head production there. So maybe that
It is a little. Well, like I said, it's been in the can probably for about
Yeah.
maybe close to a year.
I also love that there's a goat on the front of it. I feel like that's
Got-
correct.
Gotta have it. I was gonna do double. I was gonna do a double Bach and have the other Bach, but then I found the ghost town, so I figured still introduce a new brewery. Cheers, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tell us about that Belgian while I'm.
Yeah, it's well, I will. I'm going to read you the exact description. It was on the can, but my eyes aren't good. But apparently, I think it's the same description that I can see here on the Untapped. It is their interpretation of a Belgian Trappist style quad. It is brewed using authentic Belgian Pilsner Pale Ale, Special B, and Cara
Oh my
malts.
goodness.
It is hopped with laurel and Styrian golding in the boil to balance out the massive malt body. Finally, the beer undergoes a warm fermentation using a classic Belgian Trappist yeast strain. And this came out in December of last year. That was their first initial release.
Love
I'm
it.
proud of them.
Yeah, so
And
this
how is
this one's big.
How is your Bach?
I like it. So it has got nice, I think it's got a nice chocolatey flavor, even though it's supposed to have complex flavors of toffee and dark fruit
Yeah,
that
well,
are kept in balance by toasty Munich malts. It features higher alcohol, but as a lager, it is slow fermented for smoothness. Minimal noble hops are used for clean, smooth bitterness. It's medium bodied with medium carbonation. Well, I'm getting the medium carbonation for sure because you can see this head is already
yeah, it's
gotten
dropping
pretty thin.
fast.
And I thought that might have been because it's been in a can for a while, but they just said medium carbonation, so that's what they mean. But it's a nice flavor. It does have a nice toffee flavor to it.
There's a thing I find with triples and quadruples sometimes that they tend to get it almost like, for lack of a better term, almost like a syrupy flavor to it.
I get that.
I mean, not sweet, but it's like syrup adjacent.
Yeah, we were doing that when we were in Belgium. We're getting a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow in Belgium, it was just so right, though.
Oh,
I agree. Yeah.
So
yeah.
right.
This is a beautiful beer.
Did anyone wake up with hangovers when we were in Belgium and Germany? Because I don't recall a single one.
Oh,
Yeah. You may be right.
Like I recall.
Well, the captain and I both experienced.
Well, yes, gastrointestinal
Pretty bad.
distress.
Yeah, I blame the muscles for that because I have no better. They're the easiest target.
Hangovers, though, I guess we just didn't have time for them.
Well,
and I was trying to manage them too. I mean, every day I was taking, different pills and made sure I drank that glass of water every night and that kind of thing.
I mean, I also felt like our overall amount of consumption was not over the top, generally speaking. I mean, yeah, we would be drinking all day, but I didn't think, well, no, I mean, a lot of especially when it was all the scheduled stops, like we'll have a beer here, we'll have a beer there, but I didn't think we were just like, we weren't saying I need more. Yeah.
But we were having like 4 to 5 beers a day.
Well, yeah. But that's
As
over the course of a day,
Well, yeah, I know.
We were starting at like
That's
11 in the morning.
That is true. We were drinking we were starting drinking at like 10. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, besides the day I got sick, I don't think I felt too badly. We always got up and got back on the bus.
I did not have a single hangover the entire trip, and I was so proud of all of us for that.
Which is good, because I mean, well, I didn't have access to any other drugs, so
Fair.
that's usually where my hangovers come from when I do combining.
No, I have a discussion point for the team. Unless
Okay,
you have
yeah.
specific thoughts,
No, I
Captain.
just wanted to hear a little bit more about France.
Let's talk more about
like,
France. Yeah.
well,
have
I
a
did, I
discussion
did, I
point
did.
for when
We
we're ready
talked
for
a
that.
lot about all the points, but did you have any beers when you were there?
Yes.
Yes. Upon arrival, on the day we got to the hotel, we had a free drink in our welcome meeting with the tour group, and so I had this is the main beer is the Kronenberg 1664. You've seen
That
it,
was going to be my guess. Yeah.
and it's a drinkable lager.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not terrible,
Sure.
but I had that. I think the next day I had a Leffe.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Belgium, which is an ABV AB InBev product,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but it was still fine. And so, but then I really wasn't feeling well
Mm.
for about 3 days. That was a bit of a drag. I missed a whole day again,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
did on the Belgian tour.
that is unfortunate.
So I wasn't really even enjoying the wine. It wasn't till like we went there. We flew in on a Sunday, and it wasn't really till Thursday that I decided, okay, I can enjoy alcohol again. If that gives you an idea I did have like beer places planned out. Like if we had a chance to go out later in the night, I did have beer spots to go to, and I did have other beers. We went to a fondue house,
Ooh.
which was my
Cheese
idea.
is very French. Cheese is very French.
I just tried to. I wanted to, please everyone, and I know that Bricken and her family, they really enjoy fondue. But I was going to go for the raclette. You know what raclette is?
Oh, yeah.
Did we
Mhm.
do a
Swiss.
raclette night
Yeah.
together one time at East Village? Were you guys part of that?
I
Maybe the Bear Wonder was.
I know
There's
a raclette. I do because it's all melty cheese and you just lay it over
Yeah,
things. It's
they
wonderful.
actually have like a machine they plug
Mhm.
in and put it on your table, so you can
Yep.
scrape the cheese off onto your potatoes or your meat. And at that bar, I had 2 beers from Cime Brewing,
Okay.
CIMES.
Oh, okay.
And that is a French brewery.
I believe it is French, even though they have like that. It might be Swiss because they have that Swiss like cross on it.
Right.
I had one was a brown ale and one was an amber ale,
Mm.
and they were fine.
All right.
Fine. Just fine.
Just fine.
That's low praise.
The brown
for
I
you.
liked. I
All
liked the
right.
brown a little more. The brown was called Abominable. So they were snow related, ski related. This whole place was supposed to look like a chalet, even though we were in Paris. It was actually recommended to me by an American.
Mm.
Shout out to Susie, a comedian. So she was like, she gave me this whole list of places to go, and so that was one of the spots we went.
Huh.
But I also found a nice crepe place. Like I tried to be an advanced guide, like to get the places that were going to be
Next
cool
level.
to go to.
Yeah.
And I did pretty well. I wasn't completely happy with my thing, but we did do a food tour.
Oh.
And the food tour had wine on it too. And we ended up having lunch at this one place. It was a very old place. It kind of reminded me of Old Town a little bit. And then it was built in 1900. It was like this old restaurant bar and had an upstairs bar. There was a spiral staircase to walk up to get to the restrooms. Really cool spot. And then as we left, we went a couple blocks over, and the guide said, "I'm going to stop at this building here. This is where Jim Morrison lived in his last year of his life." I was like, "Excuse me?" Like I had no idea we were going to do that. And somebody had put there's like a garage door, like a metal, those like pull down things
Yeah.
in the storefront, and it had like an image of Jim on it.
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Oh my God, this is where Jim Morrison lived." Like I was like, I was really excited because I love rock history and stuff. And so I said, "Do you know which apartment it was?" I think it was this one right here, the one above the garage door. And I'm like, and I just pictured Jim opening the doors, going, "I am the Lizard King." And this guy, we were on a tour. This was separate from our regular tour. This was we booked this separate tour, and these people were on it. These two this couple with their two daughters, and the father was explaining to them that he was the Justin Bieber of his day.
Oh, I'm sad that that's the reference they had to
Yeah.
make. But
I was gonna smack the guy. I said,
just like,
"Come on!"
Yeah, come on, exactly. Yeah, I
So
know.
they're just
I'm
giving them a
impressed.
reference. It's like, okay, all right,
When I was there, I got to see where he was buried, but I think that sounds more
right. There's
interesting.
that. Yeah,
Père
that
Lachaise.
was something I wanted to do, but
Yeah, it was. There was. I spent some time in a couple of French graveyards when I was there. But like I said, your experience sounds better than just like, okay, here's the trendy graves or whatever. But like, oh, they're here just to see that, all of that.
it was just
So-
surprising, because we were on a
Yeah.
food tour. We were getting,
Yeah.
we had great food, macaron and chocolate, and
so fancy.
we had a croque monsieur, and we had falafel because we went to the Jewish sector,
Oh,
with the Jewish quarter, and it's, I don't know if you know the movie Au revoir les enfants,
Wait.
and it's about these hundreds of children that were taken from this school because they were Jewish, and
Right.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's based
so they
on
had
Louis
big
Malle's.
memorials there.
Isn't that like? Wasn't it like Louis Malle's personal experience?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Right?
That was
About
his movie.
his
though.
childhood. Yeah, I know he directed the movie, and I was wondering if
Right.
it was. I think there was a personal connection to him with that story.
That I don't know, but I know they had a
Yeah.
big memorial there, and that was and the guy's like, "Oh, this is actually the school they were taken from." I'm like, "Oh gosh!" And then around the corner we had falafel.
Well, there you
which,
go. It all fits
I'm
together.
not like a falafel guy, but it was pretty good.
Mhm.
It was pretty
Excellent.
good. So it was a
Well,
nice food tour.
I also understand that Cider Girl had some adventures and came up with a. I received a personalized intel here about a cocktail, a wine cocktail that she enjoyed. It was
Yes,
the
it's a
Kier
very
cocktail?
popular aperitif they do there, the Kier.
Yes, the white wine and creme de
Cassis.
cassis. Thank you.
Cassis.
Yes.
It's a simple but delicious drink.
Well,
And I tried it too. Yeah, it's nice, nice little. We
You
actually
men-
went to a restaurant at the top of the this other tower, the Parnassus Tower,
Mm.
which is
Not the
like a
Eiffel one.
regular. Yeah, it's like a skyscraper, like a modern skyscraper, but they had a restaurant at the top, so you could see the whole city from the restaurant. So that was
Oh,
kind
that's
of
nice.
nice.
I think I saw something like that in Vienna, except you had to have a reservation at the restaurant to actually see the top.
Oh, rude.
But we
Well,
went
luckily
pretty high
it was
up.
part.
to
It was
see
part of our tour.
Oh, that's
That
great.
was our farewell dinner was at this place, so that was a nice nice touch.
Oh, not the Holiday Inn like ours was.
Yeah, that does sound like a much better farewell dinner than.
I know.
Oh, it's the same place you go for the breakfast buffet, and no one else is here. It's just at the hotel. So yeah,
Well, we were talking about that while we were on the tour because we were like, "Oh, these farewell dinners are always so fun and exciting." I'm like, "Well, they're not always great."
yeah, yeah.
I told the Cider Girl, I said, "Well, remember the one at the Holiday Inn?" And she's like, "What do you mean? It was just last year." Like,
It was very
"Oh,
underwhelming,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
I gotta say,
It wasn't
the-
bad, but it
the
was just like,
welcome, the welcome dinner and the farewell dinner were both questionable because we went to that weird.
I would say between the two, the welcome
place.
dinner was better because at least it had better
Yes.
atmosphere.
yeah, it was a good
Absolutely, yeah.
atmosphere.
It wasn't
And they
just
had
a
lot
place
of
where you had
beers.
breakfast today.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were stepping it up a bit.
Now our tour, to be fair, our tour that was filled with beer. I mean, we were given.
Oh, no
Yes.
question.
Oh yeah, no,
Amazing
there were
portions
plenty
of
of good
beer.
things. It's just that particular aspect was like, okay, that's fine. I did when you were talking about macaron. I could not resist, even though I generally do not correct Cider Girl on her spelling because I know she's very sensitive about that.
Yes.
But she, I had to blame autocorrect for this because she talked about macarons and the Facebook post said macaroons, and that's just a huge pet peeve of mine that people can't tell. I'm not saying Cider Girl, but a lot of people sort of like want to make that the same word. Like I've seen several television shows in the last couple of years where someone's holding a macaron and say, "Would you like a macaroon?" Like that's not what it's called. You can't. It's not an
What's
alternate
funny about
pronunciation. That's a totally different cookie.
Totally different. Hashtag totally different cookie.
I don't know the history of the macaroon
But it's like a
because
it's
it's
a
like
coconut thing.
coconut.
It's an
Yeah, it
American
has
thing.
nothing
It's a
to do with
coconut.
what a macaron
No.
is.
Yeah, but it is a legitimate cookie, as is a macaron. But they're totally separate things,
Completely
all separated
different.
by one letter. And yeah, the first one was on a season of Fargo. We're saying, "Look, I brought you some macaroons." I'm like, "No, you didn't. You brought him some poison macarons." Oh, spoiler alert: they're poison. And then
There's a lot of murders on
then I saw it
on the
again
Fargo,
on the
so.
Great. Now with we're playing. She's playing Catherine the Great, and the whole like thing is she's just sort of tone deaf because she's bringing the troops cookies. They're all dying, and she's
Okay.
she's the queen, and she's like, "Hey, I brought you these macaroons." I'm like, "They're macarons. Those are
Oh
you're
my
clearly
gosh.
yeah." So that's. I'm sorry.
And the Russians were very, very good with the French at that time, so they would know definitely how to pronounce
right.
it.
Even if they are speaking English because it's an American comedy. But I feel like I want to sort of just veer again now that I'm embarrassed
Let's
myself of
veer.
all of that. I want to just say again like Beer Wonder, how's that beer treating you?
Yeah.
Look, we're about 2/3 of the way through.
Okay.
Oh man.
Life is good, y'all.
We
Awesome.
we all have the same color beer at this point, I think.
I know it is.
We
Well,
kind of
like,
do.
it's-
Yours looks a little darker than mine in the
Oh
picture
yeah.
here.
Well,
today.
you might have better just lighter lighting.
Yeah.
I could turn on my light a little bit and see if we can get.
Yeah, I'm feeling the fantasy, as I think the kids say these days.
Yeah.
Feeling
You know,
the fantasy.
it's a good time, but if we're ready, I do have a discussion
Say
point.
that.
Oh
I
yes,
don't know.
please. Let's get that. I interrupted you before, so
I have
let's
a
get your
discussion
decision.
point. And I have to pull it up because it involves the social medias. But here's the thing: it's
Okay.
the social medias that like the kids are not all about these days. It's the Facebooks, because the kids are done with Facebook. But
Right. I mean, we're still on there because we don't have a lot of those kids who are into us, it seems. But
that's true. And while I'm looking this up, do you want to remind them of the other social medias where they can find us? Maybe the ones that are
sure.
more
I
hip
mean,
to the
basically,
kids?
look
Yeah.
anywhere where it's at the Beer Vengers. I don't know if Threads is even worth your time because we put a couple of posts up there, and no, I mean, apparently a lot of the other people who are around us migrated, but no one's even noticed those ones. And not that I really care that much. It's more that like if we're putting on there and no one even like gives it a courtesy like, I don't think anyone's really paying attention to Threads. But we're
Probably
there. We're there with at the Beer Vengers. That's Meta.
Threads
Facebook.
hype might be
All the
fading,
meta places are in there, and we're also there on Instagram. Yeah, Instagram is one of the metas. But yeah, at the Beer Vengers. Yeah, actually, I'm curious. We've been flirting with the idea of putting in a little bit more video content. Last week there were
Oh yeah.
so many visuals involved in our live show. I decided to put together a video version of that. It has a few little extra. There's a little bonus material contained within that, which I know you guys got to see. Is it worth is it worth sitting through at least half the show to find the bonus material?
You get to see me with hair. More
Oh,
hair.
there you go. Yeah, hair in a different place.
Yes. Which
You
sounds
could tell
way
the
more
kids
sexual
to,
than it
to
is,
just
but it's not.
move to the minute mark to catch it.
Yeah.
Especially because they
say,
probably already listened to the podcast orally.
Yes.
I should.
Yes. It's basically the same thing. We don't have the cold open on that one, and I added a little bonus material in the middle in case you need a little 30-second break in the middle of it, and so yeah, that's on our YouTube page. I'll see if I can put it anywhere else. I think it's too long to put anywhere.
I think you can put it. You can put it at the end of the show today.
What do you mean, the song?
Yeah, the song. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Now the pressure's on. I could give it a try.
Well, you don't have to play it live. I mean, I'm saying you put that recording on.
Oh, you mean I could just tack it on there? Yeah, I mean, that's probably not going to happen because you play the ukulele so well at the end of it. So,
oh well, that's very kind of you.
But that anyway. So you can check that out. And if you do, and I see some more people are watching it. Maybe we'll add more video content as it goes along. Maybe I'll figure out a way to carve up the episode and maybe throw some of it on the TikToks and the Instagram.
Pick it up. You guys have a password for that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I just don't use it
because I don't know what it is.
But you're attached to it, right?
Yeah,
You're
except I
logged
just
into
went
that.
to look for it and it disappeared on me. I don't know why.
You're
Okay,
the one
well,
we're relying on for the Tiki Talkies, so
Oh my!
I know.
I haven't done one in
but
I think I did. I do one in France. I don't know. I don't think so.
I didn't
With
see
great
anything.
Huck comes great responsibility.
But
Hmm.
so we're on the socials. But was you had a question about the socials? I think
Well,
is what
yes,
you.
I do have a question about the socials, and let me pull it up. So I'm looking at the Facebooks for our dear friends at Other Half, and as we know, Other
Oh
Half
yeah.
has their lovely location here in Brooklyn, in the County of Kings, the better borough, as we're saying on the City Brew Tours Beercast, where I am a featured host this month, and also Globe Hopper was just on. But they do also have a Finger Lakes location, and they recently had to update some of their policies. So I'd like to do a dramatic reading, a reading from the book of the Other Half Brewery Finger Lakes, and get response from the beer venture community. Updated
Okay.
policies. Please read. We're big dog lovers. Most of our team has furry friends by their sides. We wish we could bring them everywhere, but sometimes it's best to let them relax at home or enjoy the great outdoors with us. To ensure everyone's safety and comfort, we've made the decision to reserve Saturdays and Sundays as dog-free days inside our tap room due to limited indoor space. However, we still welcome dogs on our premises as long as they are leashed and enjoy the outdoor areas on that day. We want to create a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone, and our tap room can get quite busy during weekends and events. Feel free to explore the expansive acres of land we have where you and your furry companions can sip a pint together. Additionally, we love that our space is family friendly and we're committed to maintaining that environment. If you are bringing kids under 21, we kindly ask that they be supervised at all times. For their safety,
Mm.
we request that no children wander the space unattended. This includes playing yard games and ordering food from food trucks or snacks and sodas from the bar. Thank you for your cooperation.
I mean, that all sounds
Okay.
extraordinarily reasonable. In fact,
Exactly.
I would almost be in favor of designating certain hours kid free as well. Uh, I don't know how that flies in the Finger Lakes, but yeah, I think if breweries are going to allow dogs and kids most of the time, there should be an adult swim on occasion.
I think I was just looking at their tap list. Looks really cool.
I mean, it's a great. They're an excellent
They got
spot.
a Maibach on here.
Their space looks beautiful. It looks
Yeah.
excellent, but clearly they have because the Brooklyn vibe is a baby in a brewery. That's quintessentially Brooklyn.
Sure, but this isn't Brooklyn. This is the Finger
It's
Lakes.
Exactly.
super well, Clovis is with the town here where all the
Right.
babies are in the
Yes.
brewery.
Because I think that bringing kids and dogs to breweries needs to be an okay thing, but at the same time, I appreciate that they're adding some common sense restrictions around making sure that everyone is able to have a safe and enjoyable experience in their space. And I'm
Yeah,
curious what led up to that because Other
sure.
Half I think has always been a community focused brewery. I mean, at least in my experience with them here in Brooklyn. And I'm concerned about what led them to have to make that kind of a declaration and
Yeah, I
add these
wonder.
additional policies
Oh, that's
because
true. Yeah.
it makes me think that our fellow beer vengers near and far are maybe not respecting our third spaces in the way that we should be with our kids and our dogs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
that sounds so carefully crafted. It was just like, fuck you guys, we got to do something.
yeah,
But
there's definitely
we
something
can't
going
piss
on
our
there. Yeah.
people off. So let's figure out the best way, and everyone on the staff has to approve this and reread it and make sure we have it phrased the way that will piss off the least amount of people. And I'm wondering, well, since you're looking at it, this thing on Instagram, is it Instagram that it's on?
It's the Facebooks. It's the old
Oh, it's
people's social
Facebook.
medias.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is my question: is what are the comments like?
Wildly supportive.
Oh,
Okay, great.
oh, that's
So
good.
yeah, so I think
Like
they did it the right
wildly
way.
supportive. Yeah, there's 17 different comments. They've got over 200 likes on it. My favorite one said, "As a parent and a dog owner who loves Other Half, it annoys me to no end that inconsiderate folks have made you make these common sense rules. Feels like everything you said here is what people should just be doing anyways. That's what we do with our kids and dogs. Keep doing what you do, Other Half. We love your spot." So it's pretty clear that there is a lot of love and attention that is being given to this, including people who are saying so glad we brought Charlie in today. We totally understand dog emoji. So people get it, but it makes me want to send a little message out to the beer venger sphere because our massive reach, most of it apparently in California, is just needs a
Well,
quick reminder.
yes. Oh, we can talk about that too. But yeah, I want I
Right.
now okay.
And
keep talking about
and
this, and I'm
also
going to talk about what you're referring to right
right,
now.
but also the aliens, because I'm still convinced that parts unknown, you're out there.
Yeah,
Is
the aliens are very good at disguising themselves at this point because we don't have any unidentified people anymore. But
that's unfortunate.
yeah.
Aliens come back, but I just want to remind everyone that, like, yes, we want your kids, we want your dogs there. Like, these are meant to be community spaces. They're meant to be. Breweries are good at doing that, but let's just make sure that we're making sure everyone is having a good time, including your furry friends and your tiny humans.
Well, my point of view is like when I see kids or dogs in the brewery. I mean, I don't care.
I know, as long as they're like,
A lot of like Hayes Bros get upset about it,
I
but
know.
it's like if you're not bothering me,
Hmm.
if your dog's not barking or biting me, it's
Yeah,
like I don't care.
yeah,
I'm in do We're having our own thing. I'm not going to change my behavior
yeah,
because there's
exactly.
children in the room.
Mhm.
I'm gonna yell out F bombs
I'm gonna pet the doggos.
loudly.
I don't know if I'm going to yell them out, and they're not really bums either. But they're words. I always thought I know you think I get on you too much about this, Huck, but because you're say effing whenever you want to, but I
Did
also
I
think
say
it's
F bombs again?
you said f
Teach the
bomb.
children.
Yeah, I feel like using that term makes the word fuck sound more violent than it
But if I
actually
said
is.
fuck bombs, it's not the same.
No,
That's
no,
kind of
you're
sexy
right.
right there.
You're right. But I feel like I'll say fuck whenever I'll yell out fuck whenever I want to.
I'll yell out fuck whenever I want. Yeah.
There you
There you
go.
go.
If we're in we used to do it in Brooklyn or wherever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
I
no,
see
adult
kids. I'm
spaces.
like, you're the one that brought your kids to an adult space. That's your problem.
Well,
I understand there are times when you want to say effing or freaking, and it's very appropriate. But I feel like I've always felt that the term f bomb applies too much violence to a word that doesn't deserve it. That's just my own. That's my own baggage or whatever. But I think it's valid.
You're fine.
All right, thank you. This was a very nice civilized discussion about that.
This was a good podcast today. It was very
Yes, yeah.
arty,
yeah, I was gonna
very
say, I feel like we were really entering the,
intellectual.
like, intellectual educational podcast. We should really cross promote in both sectors.
By the way, I know this is kind of bearing the lead, but did you guys know that we reached 3,000 downloads this week?
Bless it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
All 3,000 of the
For the whole,
aliens.
yes, for the entire run of the show, we have now passed 3,000 downloads, and we were talking about how actually,
Do the math on that.
and Huck, I want to thank you so much for telling all the Californians about us, because now, like, barely edging out for this month, California is ahead of New York.
Rude. New York, do better.
And we are tied. But that's not necessarily surprising with all the
That's about
California
37
beards.
downloads an episode. That's pretty good.
It is. And so we've caught up with that. And so I'm not surprised with all the California beers. But here's what does surprise me: New York right now is tied with Texas. And I really want to reach out to our Texas listeners. Thank you. I don't know where you're finding us. No, I mean, don't
Also,
make that yet.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Like, I'm
yes,
sorry.
we talk about this a
If
lot.
there's anything we can do to help,
Every red state has pockets of people who need us.
I know,
Pockets.
but
Yeah,
I
it's usually
just feel
about 40%.
Yeah,
I just feel bad
that's
for
what I'm
them.
saying.
I just want them to know that they are loved, they are valid, they can get whatever abortion they want.
Yes. But California's number one. New York and Texas. This is just for
Whatever
this month.
style abortion you're into, get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's a hazy abortion, whether it's a imperially aged,
West Coast
barrel-aged
style.
abortion,
A steam abortion. That one's about to go out of style.
whether it's a
All right, I was wondering if we were
17%
gonna-
Danish abortion, whatever you need.
Exactly.
No. What a way to end the show.
But also,
fantastic hanging out with you guys.
I want to just let you tell the other ones here: Ohio, Florida, Massachusetts, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Georgia, Kansas, New Jersey, and this is I have to mention because it's happening like almost every month. So whoever out there is listening to us in Belgium and Germany, we keep talking about how our trip to Belgium and Germany. It's like one person in Germany and two people in or this might be one person who's so we have something in Belgium and Germany almost every month. So we're really grateful for you for listening to us, and we thank you.
I'm going to believe that is our dear friend and former tour host Kat, because I do follow her on the grams.
But is she working there a lot? Because she's also in Austria most of the time, and I haven't seen Austria once.
I've seen her bouncing around in Germany and Belgium recently.
All right. Well, hi, Kat. Thanks for listening.
Shout out to Kat. Not Cider Cat.
No.
Yes.
What was the name we gave her? Cat.
And now I feel like saying, and if it is you, we know that holiday and farewell dinner wasn't your decision.
Well, yeah, we
but-
know that was a bad.
We don't blame
I
you for
gave it
that.
negative marks on the app for the record.
Okay,
That
all right, but
the weird guy we
but you
met
were
in
wonderful,
Munich.
and thank
We
you for
did meet a
listening
few
to us.
people along the way because we wore the shirts a lot, and people
Especially
would
the
ask
dads.
us about it.
That's true. Yes,
And
the
we
dads were
did tell
committed.
people about it.
And
at
if you
places along the way.
Yeah,
if you are there, you should email us at our email address, which is thebeervengers@gmail.com.
absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
Send us an email. Let us know you're listening out there in the Europe.
Well, this is another 75 minutes that just flew by.
I know.
Yeah. Too much
At
fun.
At 17%, I'm feeling every second of it.
Well, yeah. Thank you for going there, and thank all of you, all the Beer Avengers from all those places. And if you're adjacent to other places that we want to be shouting out in the future, tell them and your friends. And yeah, I don't think there's any more to that. Thanks, everyone. Great episode, and Huck, play us out.
Please
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Come back anytime.
Oh, we're the beer Avengers, beer Avengers, beer Avengers. We're the beer Avengers.
Oh, fuck yeah, my dude.